We are currently 4th in Ligue 1, but only 4 points off the top. So we need to keep winning, which is what we didn't do against Nice, where Aziz Yakubu damaged his cruciate ligaments and is now out for 8 months. Not Nice. We're also in the French Cup quarterfinals, where Dion Drenabello and Annan both scored hat-tricks to beat Nantes 6-2 to progress to the semi-finals, where we'll take on Monaco. Due to a small injury, Bello was benched for the next match in favour of Matisse Lambourdet, who scored a brace whilst Annan scored the other goal in a 3-0 win over Troyes. We then had another 3-0 win away from home against Montpellier, where once again Annan was on the score sheet, but this time Dion Drenabello was with him. It now means Annan has scored 11 goals in the 7 games he started since Matisse Lambourdet joined the club to compete for his position. However, he couldn't score past Rennes, but Dion Drenabello did 3 times to win the game 3-1. It means Dion is now the league's top scorer and keeps us 10 points away from Nice as we stay 4th in the table, but we're now just 3 points behind PSG, who we play against today. But first of all, it's the all-important youth intake, which isn't as good as it has been in previous seasons, but I'm still pretty pleased with it. We've got one 5-star player in Johnny Antiste. He's a goalkeeper, so that's another great goalkeeper we've had coming through the youth intake. And taking a little peek at him, he does look pretty good. And actually, I think could compete with Arnaud, who was our other keeper who came through the youth intake a few seasons ago. Comparing the two of them, Johnny is not a million miles away. He's already better mentally and has more speed, and is better with eccentricity. You want a low eccentricity on a goalkeeper. High eccentricity means they're just going to do like scorpion kicks or something. But he's not far off at all. And what is very interesting is if we click on the reports, our head of youth development says this guy is a 3rd division player already. Mathieu Arnaud is apparently only a 4th division player. I don't think that's quite right. I think Arnaud looks better and is probably going to be the better keeper right now. But this is our head of youth development. This is the guy that is giving us the report, and he's only got 14 judging player ability and 14 potential, so it's not the best. So maybe he's a little bit off with his judgment there. He's not even like that good as a head of youth development, if I'm honest with you. Like, there's much better ones out there. His personality is only fairly professional. His judging ability is not great. He's working with youngsters is only 16. However, he hasn't let us down yet. He keeps bringing through some amazing regens, so I feel no need to get rid of him. We've also got 2 players with 4.5 stars of potential, and then it drops off to 3.5 stars. In previous years, we've kind of had a few 5-star players, a couple 4-star players, and then it drops off. So 3 good ones that have come through this year, and now it's dropping off a little bit. So maybe actually this is grounds to sack our head of your development, because actually it's the worst one he's done yet. Of the 2 4.5-star players though, Johan Jordan is a left back. Now we play with a wing back on attack, and to be fair, he looks fairly decent at that. His crossing and dribbling could be a little bit higher. So actually he's probably more of a full-back really, I would say. He went to full-back on defence, where crossing and dribbling isn't quite as important. His passing's okay, his tackling's okay, his marking could be better as well, actually. To be fair, there's a lot that can improve on this guy. If we compare him with Tom Roth, for example, he might get as good as Tom Roth in the future, I would say. Maybe a little bit better in terms of speed and vision, and maybe a bit better in technical abilities. But to be a wing-back, his attacking rating is only 5 out of 20 right now compared to Tom Roth's 11. This does suggest to me he's probably more of a full-back and might not make it in our team. And then we have Florian Alves, who's described here as a ball-winning midfielder. However, his biggest green spot here, which means his most natural position, is an attacking midfielder through the middle. But apparently he is best suited to be a ball-winning midfielder in the centre of midfield. We play actually further back, but he's not suited to playing in a CDM spot, which is a bit counterproductive. So I don't think it's worth training him as a ball-winning midfielder. Box to box we don't use, and to be fair, the attributes kind of match up nicely. Apart from the strength, his physicals are not particularly good at all. He's only 59 centimetres, I should say, so he's quite small. The more I look into the youth intake, the less good it seems to be. So maybe this is the excuse to get rid of our current head of youth development and actually get someone in who is a bit more suited to our style. Anyway, we are coming up against PSG first up today. As for the lineup, we are putting out the strongest team available to us right now. Tarek Buchmann is suspended, so misses out with this game. Vallejo comes in instead. Of course, Busio and Yakubu are both out long-term injuries, actually. Busio still got 3 to 6 months with his damaged cruciate ligaments, and of course, Yakubu out for 5 to 7 months with his damaged cruciate ligaments. But neither of them would be starting in our team, to be fair. The only player we're really missing is Tarek Buchmann, who would start at centre-back. Everyone else is a first choicer right now. Matisse Lambourdet, who we bought for, what was it in the end? £20 million, is improving nicely across the board, is wondering how he gets into this team right now, because both Anand and Dion are just scoring goals for fun. But this game is huge for us. Win it, and we will go level on points with PSG. We won't go ahead of them on goal difference, although I actually can't remember how the French league is sorted, if it's goal difference or head-to-head record. It's probably something I should know, but it's gone out of my head. And also, I do want to apologise for the lack of episodes in the past week. You may have seen on the main channel the other day, we did a big rebuild of Clyde, and that just took a lot longer than I was anticipating. It's actually the longest video on the channel since one of the Aberdeen save videos from 2021. Like, it's a 45-minute video pretty much. So it's the longest one on that channel for over 2 years, which is crazy actually when you think about it. So that just took a lot more time than I thought it was going to take to actually prepare and then edit and record everything. So it just took longer than I thought, which meant that this was put on the back burner for a little while, but we need to get back into the groove of things. Anyway, half time, it's gone by very quickly. Was there just one highlight in that first half maybe? 0-0. To be fair, a 0-0 draw away from home at PSG would be a very good result for us. I would really be happy with that. But we have to keep pushing, and actually right now, 58 minutes on the clock. On a 6.3 is Anand. Been superb in between episodes, but he's going to come off for Matisse. Let's bring him on and see what he can do. I think one area that we need to improve on is our backups. Like, Cerny's not going to make much of a difference. Federico could make a difference actually on the left wing, maybe. We'll bring him on and see what the youngster can do there. But it's the centre midfield where we need to really improve next season, I think. And obviously, Seiler and Belic are good to rotate around, but we need an improvement on Pablo Martinez, and Koba needs some good backup behind him. Of course, it would be Busio, but he is injured, which is obviously not ideal. In terms of our attack, though, we are sorted for the long term, although potentially with Azizi Kubu's injury, we could do with another striker, as Milan Skriniar scores the opening goal of the game in the 65th minute. A powerful header from... Well, it wasn't actually that powerful at all, was it? It was kind of a dribble. Let's watch the replay on this one. He comes charging in, and then it just sort of bounces on the floor into the back of the net somehow. Powerful run, not so powerful header. In the back of the net, same result. So now we are 1-0 down, 70 minutes on the clock. I'm going to shout encourage to a team. That might be the wrong thing to shout, maybe. Let's go a bit more positive with our stance and hope for the best here. But they've done a good job of nullifying our attack. We have done a good job of nullifying them until that corner came in. Oh, and it's off the post. Off the post there. Oh, Ardezone's header off the post. And PSG have saved themselves here, and can they double their lead? And that would really put the game beyond all doubts here with 10 minutes to go. But Ardezone with a really good interception there. And then Etienne Green just gives the ball away stupidly. And Xavi Simons has a chance to hit the ball off his back, I think. And then it falls out to the wing instead. Ugarte into Nuno Mendes. And Xavi Simons now has his chance to hit the post. We need to get something going here in the final few minutes of the game. Again, we've just got no midfielders to bring on. Carrizo is going to come on for Pablo Martinez, and I don't think it's going to make much of a difference at all here as Matisse brings the ball down the far side of the pitch. His ball in the middle is not particularly good, and that's going to be that. Oh, but there is a highlight continuing. I thought that was the end of the highlight, but it does continue from the throw. Matisse in the area, loses possession, but somehow it falls quite nicely to him, and he scores the goal to get us back on level terms. Now, what's happened here to the PSG defenders? Because he was swarmed by about 4 of them, and then suddenly the ball just broke nicely to him. I still can't quite work out what happened there watching the slow-mo replay, but it fell to Matisse and he scores. Right, now we shout encourage again, try and score a goal right at the very end of the match. The clock is ticking down, 90th minute, 6 minutes of added time. We'll go slightly more attacking for it, but it might just be too little, too late. We draw the game 1-1, and you know what? I will take that as a result. So we stay 3 points behind PSG. Lens have just lost to Nice, which is not great for Lens. They could have overtaken PSG to go on top of the table. Marseille now have a chance to go ahead of PSG, though, if they win their game. And Marseille did beat Reims 3-0, so they go top of the table. It would be nice to see someone different than PSG win the league. We've not seen that happen since we've started this save file. So I'm thinking of getting a new head of youth development then. If we sort this by judging player potential ability, and actually what we need to add in here as well, insert column, it must be under general, and it must be personality. That's what we need. We need a great personality matched with very good attributes here. So if we actually sort it by personality, model citizen is the best pretty much. Luka Modric is available, but he is rubbish at working with youngsters and judging player ability and potential. So what we should do is pick attributes for working with youngsters, judging player ability and potential, and they've got to be, I want at least 18 here in everything. And there aren't many that come back, but there are a couple. And one guy, Sebastian here, is a perfectionist. Now that is ideal. So Sebastian, working with youngsters 20, judging player ability 18, potential 19. The issue is he plays a 4-4-2, and we don't play a 4-4-2. So it's likely if he brought in wide players, they'd be more right midfielders and left midfielders rather than left wingers and right wingers. But that might be a risk I'm willing to take. This guy is also from Argentina. He actually has 17 on judging player ability, so it's one less than we want, but he's got 18 working with youngsters and 19 judging player potential. And he does actually play the exact same formation we do, so it's likely he will bring through players who can play CDM, left wing, right wing, as opposed to left midfielder and right midfielder. My only slight reservation is that he knows nothing about French football, but he does know a lot about Italian football. If we look at just people who have got a good knowledge of French, we're then actually compromising a little bit on our judging ability, judging potential, and working with youngsters, and on our personality as well. So it might be one of these two. We'll see. In the meantime, we are about to play Clermont in the league. They are 16th right now in that relegation playoff spot, so it has to be a win. We can bring Tarek Buchman back onto the bench. In fact, I think what I'll do actually is maybe leave Vallejo playing for this game and then bring Buchman on, but I do want to make changes elsewhere. I think we'll take Fontan off and start Bastian. Perez Vinloff will start this game as well. It's also a chance, I think, for Ardezzoni to start ahead of Bassi, and actually, I think we'll even start Lamborde as well. So quite a few changes. But to me, this feels like a game where we can rotate and get away with it. Perez Vinloff then starts off the attack for us down the far side, but Koba gets tackled in the penalty area. The clearance, though, is only as far as Bastian, as the ball is worked back to Sila to bring it out to his near side of the pitch instead. Che in the area, puts it across the 6-yard area, and it's far too easy for Dion to score his 19th goal of the season. There is a highlight straight from the kickoff, though, so will we double our lead, or will Clermont come straight back to us and level up the scoring? Well, we are nullifying them right now, keeping them penned in their own half, and there comes the interception as Pablo Martinez finds Perez Vinloff. He gets it through to Koba, who stays in control of the ball and then is brought down in the penalty area. And who do I want to be on this penalty? Because I feel like I've not ever sorted out penalty takers, really. Dion Drenabelli will just take them automatically. Matisse, I'd want him to score a penalty, to be fair. However, could we give it to someone who's not scored a goal for us yet? Has Bastian ever scored? He has never scored a professional goal. It's time for you to start scoring, Bastian. Oh, no penalty anyway. Right. So instead, Bastian makes an interception in the midfield, and is somehow the furthest man forward for us right now, decides to shoot from the edge of the area. He has never scored a goal in his entire career, and yet suddenly thinks he is prime Messi trying to shoot from that curling an effort into a top corner. I rate it, to be fair. Also, PSG are back on top of the table. They beat Lille midweek 3-2, so that's why they're back on top. Koba has the ball at his feet right now into Ardezzoni, who gets past his man. Will he decide to shoot and score? He does! That is Federico's first goal for the club since joining. You love to see it. He's only 18 years old. He's a real talent. We are trying to find a lot more young, talented players around 16, 17, 18 years old to try and bring through for the future. But he's the sort of player that we found and is just good enough at 18 years old to be in our team and start games. So finding talents like him, for as cheap as he was as well, is difficult, as this is now just too easy for us. Matisse with his 16th of the season at all competitions, at all clubs he's been at. Remember, he spent the first half of the season in the second division with Metz. Still don't understand why he was there, because he is far too good to be in that division. But it's half-time here, and all three of our attacking three have scored. But in the second half, Clermont are a team who want to come forward and try and get a goal to try and give themselves a lifeline in this game. They are really flirting with relegation at the moment. They're in that relegation playoff. They are a few points away, I think, from the two automatic spots, but if they don't have any good form going into that relegation playoff come the end of the season, my word. That is such a beautiful goal. Now, they're trying to say it's offside here. I hope it's not, because that was the perfect cross from Ardazzone. Look at this for a cross when the replay comes up. And the finish. Oh, it's disallowed. You hate to see it. I want to watch this replay again. Watch the cross here. In between two of the defenders. Blind, basically. And it's just that first time shot. Oh, if that had counted. Goal of the season almost. I do want to get Vallejo off for Tarek Buchman though. I want to bring Belic on for Silas to give Belic a bit of game time. And actually, I suppose Carrizo could do with some game time as well. We do need to make sure he's actually, match sharp enough to play, given he's one of our, basically our only centre mid backup at the moment. In the meantime though, there is a highlight going on as Bastien has the ball at his feet, finds Perez Vinloff on this near side, who can sprint past his man, find a ball into Ardazzone, who this time gets tackled. He can't find a wonder cross into the middle, but we do retain possession with Perez, once again finding Ardazzone. This time, he finds Perez Vinloff, cross to Bellio, it's 4. Or is it? Because it's going to VAR again. Was there an offside here? There was. How tight are we talking this time? We are, that is quite obvious. But we are trying to get more goals here. We are in attacking positions, 70 minutes on the clock. Koba, edge of the area, outside of the foot pass to the far edge of the penalty area. It falls to Justin Che, but he can't get it under control. And actually, Clermont could come on a counter-attack here and do some damage. They've got 4 players arriving in the middle, 1 on the edge of the area, 2 on the edge of the area, a man free on this near side, and he hits the post. And how have they not scored off of that? Marseille, by the way, are losing to Toulouse, I've just seen there. 1-0 down to Toulouse, which means they will drop behind PSG with the same number of games played. The good news for us is it means we are still 3 points behind PSG and the top spot. So the top 4 right now is looking very tight. Now, Bellio's gone down in the penalty area. It's going to VAR for another decision. But this time they've given us a penalty. And of course, we have put Bastien on these to hopefully get his first goal for the club and first goal in professional football. He does! You love to see it. Bastien now up and running in his career. You love to see it. I mean, he probably has scored at youth level, but not in the first team setting. So that's what we're celebrating. Clermont still trying, bless them. They've got 90 minutes on the clock and the cross is straight into Etienne Green's hands. He now surveys his options, looks up, and hoofs it long down the middle of the pitch. Bellio can't win it in the air, but Carrizo picks up the loose ball, finds Lambourdet far side, but under pressure goes back to Tarek Buchman, who now brings it over halfway with a pass to Carrizo, 20 yards in front of him, but has to go back to Buchman as we slowly build the ball forwards. But Clermont making a good challenge there on Belic, who was dawdling on the ball, and the quick ball over the top has... I was about to say, given them a consolation goal, they've hit the crossbar. Is that twice they've hit the woodwork? To be fair, it's nice it's not us hitting the woodwork, actually, I must say. That makes a nice change. But a 4-0 win is wonderful, a great result. Now, we've actually got international break next, but after international break, we have the derby against Lyon, and then we have the Monaco game in the Cup semi-final. And I really want to get to those games, so I might just try and, spam the spacebar through international break. Interestingly, despite scoring 4 goals against Clermont, it's actually our wing-backs who are both in Team of the Week and none of our attackers are. Also, I do want to try and do a little bit of transfer business whilst we're here. I was trying to sign this guy in January, However, he wasn't interested in signing for the club. But as you can see, at 18 years old, he looks very, very good. He is now wanted by a lot of very good teams, who I think he'd sign for instead of us. However, he now does want to join the club, which is great. And I think we should strike now because other clubs are unwilling to make an offer whilst the transfer window is closed. So we need to make an offer between £400,000 and 3.7 million. I'm going to just put £2 million down and profit from next sale, remove and exclude, suggest, and they want further time to consider the offer. Maybe I'll put 2.3 down and make the offer. But if we could snatch him away from those top clubs, I'd be very happy. I am also going to change our head of youth development. Now, our current one is actually out of contract. He's only on a month-to-month contract right now because his contract ran out in summer. And I don't know why I never changed him. I guess I thought he was good enough, but didn't want to commit to a new contract. So basically, we can just get rid of him. And I've decided to go for the head of youth development, who is not quite as good at working with youngsters or in terms of his knowledge. However, he likes the exact same system as us, so hopefully he'll bring through players in those roles. And his tactical styles are also more aligned to what we do. But I've rolled the dice now. I'm going to confirm that Laurent is leaving the club. We're bringing in Gustavo. That's going to be that. He's on a 3-year contract, so he's got time to prove himself. Also, Vojvodina have said yes to Sasa, which is great. So we are going to offer him a contract as a breakthrough prospect, which is quite ideal for us. Suggest promises, finalise that, negotiate the contract. It's a really cheap contract. We'll get rid of his future way to him to make money, and may we put his weekly wage up to 1.5k because of that. On a 5-year deal, please. He now wants a lot more bonuses. I'll accept it if we get 5 years here. 5 years, please. He's happy. Also, somehow Fode Seiler has just scored 2 goals for France's under-21s whilst playing in a CDM position. That's pretty impressive. And a slightly sneaky transfer as well. This is a free transfer for Juan Jose Olguin. He is a right winger from Argentina. Now, he can play as a striker with his 14 finishing, 15 pace is very good, but I think he could be a future inside forward. And given that we could get on a free with no compensation, as he came through a scout report, I thought it was worth a punt to see what he could do. He won't join until January 2028, though, when he turns 18 years old, so we've got a bit of time to wait for him. Anyway, me saying I'm going to smash through the spacebar to get through to this next game has not worked out that way, has it? But you've got a slightly longer episode out of it. Next Gen Best 50 Wonder Kids in the World is here, but none of our players are on the list because usually it comes up... Oh, there is. Pinto. Pinto is there. I don't know why it's not coming up with our proper name, but we signed Christian Pinto for £3.6 million from Racing Santander. He's gone out on loan in the second half of the season to Grenoble. He's not been there the entire season. He's looking pretty good, to be fair. As a deep line playmaker, I realise we've just put a bid in for that Serbian guy who's also a deep line playmaker. But he is on the list here, which is superb. So he's number 47. Oh, and he's also just made his first cap for Chile. You love to see it. So actually, it would be very helpful if I could remember the youngsters that we've got at the club and how good they are, because I spent about 5 minutes ago saying we need to bring centre mids in. And actually, if we bring this guy from Serbia in and we've got Pinto as well, we've actually got a really good centre mid duo to build for the future. Right, as for the Lyon game then, Anan is out injured. Must have done something on international break there, so he's out for a little while. He can't play today, so we'll bring Alex Ganduz back on the bench, which means that the front three will stay the same. We're going to bring Buchmann on at centre-back, and we'll bring Fontan on as well, because he's slightly better than Bastian, and actually Tom Roth as well. So changes to the back line, but everything else can stay the same. So we are the earlier kickoff this weekend, I believe. No one else has played just yet. So winning this game would temporarily put us on joint top of the table with PSG, but behind them on goal difference. Unless, of course, it is head-to-head record, then we might go ahead of them. We drew them today. Did we beat them earlier on the season? I can't remember. We'll find out at some point as Ardazzone goes down in the penalty area. This time, I do not want to mess around with penalty takers. We'll let Dion Drenner Bellio take it. He should be able to bury it as the penalty has been given. Dion steps up then. Is it a bad injury to Ardazzone? No, he looks absolutely fine, so he's okay. Bellio steps up, and Bellio puts it past Castells to give us the lead. I know Bellio's like obviously a wunderkind foot manager. He is well known. However, he hasn't seemed as good as he has been in previous versions of the game. And obviously we bought him for pretty cheap here because he wasn't doing the job at RB Leipzig, I think it was he was at. I can't remember where it was now. Maybe it was Salzburg. Either way, we have done very well with bringing him into the club because he is the league's top goal scorer right now. And that, from Buchmann, was a game-saving challenge there to keep us in front in this game. The resulting corner from Lyon swung into the middle. We've cleared it back to the kick taker, though. And on the edge of the area, Carboni, I think he's a centre-back, did not want to shoot. Tagliafico, the left-back, did, and he put it wide. So yeah, we are behind PSG on goal. I must be goal difference, right? Unless we did lose to PSG earlier on this season. I can't remember. I'll look at the rules at some point one day, maybe, when it actually matters to us at the end of the season. Right now, with still loads of games to go, it doesn't actually matter too much. We just need to make sure we keep winning games to keep putting the pressure on those three teams ahead of us in the table. And it could only be PSG ahead of us soon as Bellio gets on the end of a Tom Roth cross and makes it 2. So things are going incredibly well here at half-time. You're doing brilliantly. Keep it going. Interestingly, Tom Roth on a 7.3, Bella's on an 8.2, but the rest of the team are all kind of below average. So hopefully in the second half they get better as Ardazzone has a chance to put the ball into the middle. It's cleared up in the air, but only as far as Ardazzone, who puts the ball back in the middle, or does he shoots instead, bless him, and he scores the goal. What a finish! And to celebrate, we're actually going to give Vaclav Cerny a cameo here today. He isn't playing much at all right now, but Matthews is on a 6.5 and looking quite tired. Tom Roth also looking quite tired, so we'll bring him off for Perez Vinloff. And I do want to make sure Bastion gets game time as well, so he'll come on for Fontan. And Paulo Martinez comes off for, I'm going to give Belic a go in that centre mid on attack role. It's not really what he's made for, but he needs the game time. But to me, it seems like the game is petering out now. In the 85th minute, there is finally another highlight in this game. It's going in Lyon's favour right now. I'd love for us to keep a clean sheet here, though, in the rivalry. As Mariba tries to put a ball into the middle, cleared by Bastion, but it comes straight back to us as Tagliafico down this near side of the pitch. His ball cut out. Cerny finds Koba. Koba finds Belic. And now we're on a counter-attack here where Belic is tackled, but the ball falls to Koba. He finds Cerny in space, who has to impress me here today if he wants any chance of ever playing football again for us. He hits the crossbar with his shot. Perez Vinloff picks up the loose ball, but the highlight finishes, and that should be that. Heading into these final few moments of the game, we've won it 3-0. And that was superb, especially as actually Lyon had more shots than us and slightly more possession. 12 games in a row without losing now. That's incredibly impressive. Oh, and it has actually qualified us for the Europa Conference League. Are we actually guaranteed that now? Because we're paying out some bonuses to players because apparently we have guaranteed it, so we must have done. Amazing. So next season, we are going to have European football. Although I'm thinking it's more likely going to be Champions League, given that there is a huge gap between us and outside the top 4. Now, if we beat Monaco in the Cup semi-final in a few days' time, and then win the final, that also qualifies us for the Europa League. That's what Auxerre are in right now because they won it last season, and they're actually in the quarter-finals right now. Despite being terrible in the league, they are in the quarter-finals of the Europa League. And Sasha Radakovic is going to be joining us here as well. He's decided to accept the contract. It means we poach him away from Liverpool, Man City, Tottenham, PSG, Inter, Napoli. Really good work from us. Maybe slightly game-breaking that clubs just don't make bids for players outside the transfer window. But I wish he could join us right now because Pablo Martinez is now out for 3 to 4 weeks with a groin strain. He will be great next season, I promise you. So now we've got Monaco in the Cup. Lorient have just beaten Montpellier to reach the final. Perez Vinloff got injured in between games. Obviously, Pablo Martinez did as well. So actually, we've got 5 injured players now, which is not a good look for us. So actually, I'm going to start Belic in that more attacking midfield position. And we just have 2 players on the bench who can't be on the bench, basically. So kickoff is upon us. I would love for us to reach our first cup final. However, oh my word, what a great start. What a great start. Belic and Roth with something off the training ground. Why was Belic not being marked at by Monaco players? I have no idea. It's going to VAR. Right, well, this hasn't gone well for us today at all. Was Belic offside? Oh, marginally. That's really frustrating. But it's a great move. Would have been really good for him to score a goal as well because he does not get many. In the meantime, the ball in the middle from the corner has been put in the back of the net by Tarek Buchmann. It hit the post and dribbled over the line but we have the lead. And can Ardazone do it again with another delivery? Bellio's header just over the bar. Belic with a chance though to bring it forward. He is quite enjoying this attacking midfielder role through the middle. Now that was a bad challenge on Bellio from Gatti. Now if this has injured Bellio badly, we are a little bit stuck for, well, not quite. We can play Lambordet up front actually, can't we? Luckily, Bellio has got up and looks to be alright, so he will take this penalty. But we are already kind of down to bare bones a little bit with strikers given the injury to Yakubu. If DeAndre and Bellio got injured, that would be really quite frustrating. But a 2-goal lead heading into half-time might just be unassailable, particularly when you look at the match stats. 13 shots to 2, a 2.83 XG to 0.19. It's really in our favour. Tom Roth with a chance to score from a free kick here. Hits the wall, falls through to Seiler, but I think he was offside. I think that one was quite comfortably offside. Unless it hit the wall and it doesn't actually count, because we'll find out what VAR says, basically. I never quite fully understand the offside rules these days. In some situations, but that one it does count wonderfully. So the ball hits the wall, and then I guess it nullifies Seiler not being onside or off. I don't know. He scored, I'm happy. That might be his first goal for the club actually as well. So we're seeing a lot of players today getting their first goals for the club, which is very exciting for us. As Jose Fontan brings it forwards, ball played into Roth, who puts the ball to the far post clear, but only as far as Justin Che, who hits the crossbar. I think probably we'll make a few changes now as well early on in this game. We have got a lot of players who have played a lot of minutes recently, like Justin Che, for example. We'll bring him off. Let's also bring Bastian on. Carrizo could do with a bit of a run out there. We'll swap him over with Cobra, I suppose, in this situation. And maybe swap those two over, actually. So Belic is more of a playmaker. And Daniel Bassi hasn't played much at all, and Federico has, so we'll swap those guys over. And actually, because a lot of our players are looking quite tired as well, we'll change some instructions in a second just to be a little bit more calmer as the game moves on, as some tackles flying in the middle of Monaco's half there. But the ball is brought out to Holic, who makes it 4. This guy comes on every now and again and just scores great goals. But now we're here, let's drop the tempo. Let's not run at the defence quite so much. Let's time waste a little bit too. And let's not counter press, let's just regroup and slow the pace down. We're 4-0 up. If we now lose it 5-4, we probably deserve it. But I don't think we will do. I think we're just protecting the game now, slowing things down, protecting our players first and foremost as Monaco do score. But that does look to be just about the only highlight there is going to be for the rest of this game. It's ticking down. By looks of things, we have made the cup final. 5 minutes to go until that is confirmed. There's no way Monaco is scoring 3 or 4 goals in that time to take it to extra time or win the game outright. Buchmann with the ball at his feet. If we score a 5th right now as well, that is completely game over. Belic finds Bellio, he finds Calvin Bassi, who's tackled, but it falls to Lambordet on the far side of the penalty area, who can put a ball into Carrizo, who still can't quite score, but Bassi does. That is game over. Monaco still looking for a consolation goal, bless them. It's not going to come, lads. You're not going to get a consolation goal here, although both of our defenders go for a slide challenge there. Both get the ball, but it still falls to Colombo, who does a great run to find Mbolo, and they do get a consolation. Referee, if you're going to blow your whistle just to get this video done and dusted, and we can look forward to next episode where I think we probably should be doing the cup final. We'll have to double check when the cup final actually takes place. I assume at the end of the season, but I could be completely wrong. But there's confirmation, we've won the game, and we are due to play Lorient in the cup final on the 22nd of May. And it makes sense to do that in the next episode. We've only got 6 league games left this season. Wow, that's gone quickly. Well, if you're watching this as it comes out episode by episode, it has actually taken quite a while to get through this season because I've been a bit slow with episodes, but you know, I've got no defence really, have I? It's gone pretty slow, actually. But interestingly, we've got Marseille in the penultimate game of the season, and that actually could end up being a pivotal game in deciding maybe the title winner this season. Looks like PSG did win their game, but Lens and Marseille didn't. So actually, with 6 games to go, we find ourselves incredibly 3 points away from a title in such a tight fight. I am incredibly excited to find out how this one is going to end.